Welcome back to another Jamie's Broken Cars. This is a little hobby channel of mine, and we're in the XJ-S, which is living up to the channel name by being slightly broken. Actually, I'm hoping it's not broken, but we don't have an MOT just now. I have on the seat beside me an MOT fail certificate, which I got last Friday, and I'm on my way back to the test station now to represent the car, and hopefully I come away with a fresh ticket. The failure items were the handbrake effectiveness, which I admit was disappointing because the handbrake's actually never been better. The tester told me that it hadn't quite made the minimum braking force, and that one side was weaker than the other, but it was almost there, so he suggested that I scrub up the discs and pads a little bit and hopefully it can just sneak through. We also failed on headlight aim, which, that's on me, that's a bit silly, but that's fixed now. And we failed on a bit of wheel bearing play, one of the two fronts, that's been nipped up. The thing that surprised me though, and I've never been near it, it's also on me because everything's on me, it's my car. My seat, the one I'm sitting in, the seatbelt anchor is achieved through the bolt down to the from the seat rail to the body shell, and the rear inboard bolt was present but not tightened up, which I'd never looked at before. I'd never even wobbled the seats, so it's fair enough that it failed. The tester, bless him, he optimistically thought that I could just tighten the bolt up and all would be good, but unfortunately he doesn't know how lucky I am. So I got to it, and the reason it wasn't tight is because some absolute gorilla, but let's face it, we've all seen them in cars, had stripped the thread for me in the captive nut. So I did pull back the carpet, so I had a look at it. In the earlier cars, there's a slot that you can slide the captive nut in and out. This is a later car, hasn't got the slot. The captive nut is truly captive between a sort of spot welded pressing that forms a seat mounting and the body shell itself. So there was no way of getting the captive nut out without cutting the car, which I didn't really want to do if I could avoid it. So what I've done instead is I've helicoiled it, which has done the trick. It's nice and secure. The US Navy performed tests on helicoils during the Second World War to try shock testing them, and they approved the use of helicoils for shipbuilding because they tended to be stronger than the original threads cut directly into the parent material, which I didn't know until I went looking for this thing, so that's good. And I had an advisory as well, a few actually. One was about the power steering leaks. I've never fixed those. I expected to be picked up on them, and I was, but they're not that bad, so it's an advisory. The steel fuel tubes from front to back of car, or back to front, are okay. They're a bit rusty, so I will change those. In the short term though, I've wire brushed them and greased them just so that they don't perforate from the outside, but I'll add them to the list, they'll get done. And I was picked up for a little bit of rust, common XJ-S spot. Everywhere's a common XJ-S spot. I was picked up on a bit of corrosion on the front inner wings. There's a common spot behind. There's a stiffener that gets added from the outside behind where the shock absorber mounts, and I found shortly after buying the car that one of mine had sort of blown through. So it was an advisory item. I could have got the MOT without it, but I was feeling particularly motivated at the weekend just past there, and I've cut away the bad metal and welded it up. It's one of the best welding jobs I've ever done, I have to say, but probably still a bit on the poor side compared to people that are actually good at that sort of thing. But it's done. I've done an advisory item. Yay me. Right, got a few more miles off to the test centre and we'll see how we do. Right, we are here at the garage. We have dropped the car off They now have my keys. The very nice lady's taken it, or taken them rather. And I'm going to go for a bit of a walkabout for about 20 minutes, half an hour or something like that, and then we'll see how it's done. Look at that, both of my reverse lights still work as well. Fantastic. Well, the breeze has picked up a little bit, but the good news is we have an MOT. Hey! Yeah, still a couple of advisories. There's nothing I didn't know about. Bit of an exhaust leak. I decided not to fix that just yet because I'm hoping I can get a better one. There is still a bit of corrosion on that inner wing, but behind the little expansion tank thing, so that has to come off to do it. So that means some coolant disturbance and things. Yeah, I'll get around to that. Power steering leak, yeah, knew about that. And the fuel hose, as I mentioned, on the way out here. But all in all, successful retest. It's nice, it's sunny, it's dry. They've stopped spreading salt on the roads, which means hopefully we can get the old XJ-S out again a little bit more. Superb.